Val Emmons Show, where freedom is cool and political correctness is for sissies.
Well, good evening, everyone. I'm Val Emmons, and welcome on this Monday, November 25th, 2013. You can, as usual, look up anything we're going to talk about on my Facebook page, www.facebook.com/Val Emmons, and you can send me a tweet at Val Emmons. Most definitely go out and add me to my Facebook page. The more merrier. The more the merrier. We have a lot of heated arguments sometimes on my page, but everyone pretty much tries to stay civil because I don't put up with that crap. If you start calling me names, I put up with a little bit of crap. Like, I let people be free, but I don't let people be ugly, and most people respect that about my page. I'm not saying hide information. I'm not saying don't say anything. I'm just saying be respectful about it, and we all come out friends in the end. People sometimes get mad at me. That's what I love about Facebook, but then they come back around because they see that it's not personal. These things like this aren't personal. When you get on, an argument, you should learn from the debate. You should take away something from the debate. That's why I love debate. And that's one of the things that I use Facebook for. I think that's a great tool because actually you're not talking over people like when you're on television or whatnot. You see all the commentators talking over one another, and you can't really understand what the heck they're saying because they're just talking over one another, not learning anything from each other whenever you cannot hear what the other person's saying. So anyway, just tossing that out there for tonight. So let's get started. It looks like Obamacare may have backfired in its goal of making smoking so expensive that users quit. Public health experts say as sky-high insurance premiums force smokers to drop coverage altogether and lose smoking cessation programs along with it. Tobacco surcharges are not proven to help tobacco users quit, and there are major concerns that they will prevent people from getting health care coverage, the American Lung Association's Jennifer Singletary told Fox News. The ALA supports the Affordable Care Act, as does the American Cancer Society, but both oppose the tobacco penalty because they believe it makes insurance unaffordable for smokers. Charging tobacco users more in health insurance premiums, sometimes thousands of dollars more, studies have shown, will price smokers out of the market, said Singletary. Unlike drug addicts, alcoholics, or obese, all of whom represent higher than average medical costs, smokers are the only such group with a pre-existing condition that Obamacare penalizes. It allows insurance companies to charge smokers up to 50% more than non-smokers for an identical policy, depending on the state and any subsidies the person might qualify. For example, premiums for a 64-year-old non-smoker, according to the Kaiser Health Calculator, cost $9,000 a year for a standard silver insurance plan. The same policy for a smoker could cost $13,600 a year. I can't afford any insurance at that rate, smoker Don Hampton said. I thought that was what Obamacare was about, to stop all of this. Okay, Don, I'm going to stop right there reading this because I think that is the most moronic comment that I've heard thus far. And to say that you cannot afford your health insurance because, one, you smoke and it's more expensive, but for two, you smoke. And how expensive is that, Don? How many packs of cigarettes are you paying for? I'm guaranteeing that the cost of your monthly premium could be paid for in the amount of cigarettes that you buy on a monthly basis. At $5 or $6 a pack, times maybe a pack a day. What's that? $42 a week. That right there is almost $150 a month. A month, Don, that you could put towards your insurance to cover. And not to mention, it would be 50% cheaper. Okay? So these are the things, and someone says, well, they can smoke if they want to and pay that higher premium. But the problem is, most of these people that smoke are not paying their own premium. Okay? Especially here in Arkansas, we have the private option. If those insurance premiums increase by 50%, who do you think gets stuck paying that bill? Taxpayers pay that bill. Not Don, but taxpayers. So while he's spending his $150 a month smoking cigarettes, at least $150 a month, we're buying his health care at a double premium cost. All right? Interesting. And on the surcharge and the taxes, that doesn't stop people from quitting. It doesn't stop people at all. In fact, I know lots of people who smoke, and they used to be where Marlboros were like, I used to smoke. When Marlboros were like, $3. I remember when they're 89 cents, but that was when I was 16. I was smoking. Ooh, I'm old. Anyway, so back in those days, if cigarettes went up, you just bought a cheaper brand. Like if Marlboro goes up, you just buy a cheaper brand. You don't quit smoking. I mean, I eventually quit smoking, obviously, because it's stupid. It's like paying yourself to kill yourself. I mean, you're paying to kill yourself. I mean, it's kind of stupid. And all of the benefits that you get from quitting smoking, like being able to breathe. Anyway, so I'm not being a hypocrite about that. I'm just saying I never asked anyone to cover my health insurance while I was smoking. I think that's absolutely crazy to sit there and say, well, I can't cover my health insurance because I'm a smoker. It's dumb. All right, let's move on. 11 states stepped in to prevent the surcharge, but a majority have not, and those insurance providers will decide the surcharge. But most concerning to public health advocates is the surcharge effects on low-income earners since the federal subsidies cannot be used to offset the penalty. Oh, okay, well, I was wrong about that, so I guess taxpayers aren't going to be paying for that. I guess I should read better. Anyway, a study by Nonpartisan Institute for Health Policy Solutions found some smokers could pay as much as 33% of their income in healthcare premiums, well in excess of what Obamacare considers affordable healthcare. The study presented 3 scenarios. 1, the premium for a young non-smoker earning roughly the minimum wage will cost $708. The same policy for a smoker would cost $3,308, or up to 400% more. Before subsidies, a non-smoker who is 59 or older would also pay $700 for a silver or mid-level policy. However, a smoker of the same age would pay $5,908. In a worst-case scenario, number 3, an older couple who smokes could be literally impoverished by Obamacare premiums, said the report. That couple could pay an $11,352 health care premium, or one-half their annual income of $23,000. By comparison, a non-smoking person over 59 years old would pay 90% less, or just $952 after federal subsidies. There are certainly cases where the insurance company is applying the maximum significant surcharge, where someone could be paying a significant share of their income towards health insurance, said Lee Levitt, a Kaiser Family Foundation senior advisor. Some smokers are feeling burned. Interesting. Alcoholics, people who are terminally ill, I just feel like everybody should be treated equally, said Carmen McCullen, a smoker in Los Angeles. 34% of the lowest income Americans smoke, compared with only 13% of those earning 90% or more a year. Those who designed Obamacare imposed the surcharge hoping it would convince users to quit or price them out of the market. It also reflects the higher cost smokers present to insurance, which is why we are not all equal. Back to the comment the lady made, because you're going to cost more when you get lung cancer, which, don't get me wrong, anyone can get lung cancer. Christopher Reeve's wife died of lung cancer. She never smoked a day in her life. But most of the time, it's folks that smoke who have emphysema, COPD, all of these chronic illnesses from smoking, and then yet they still keep smoking, which makes it worse. And so I think that, yeah, you're going to keep them from having insurance, but at the same time, taxpayers are still going to pay for it in reality, like I said earlier, because there's always a loophole, because they won't have insurance, and who will pay for that whenever they can't cover themselves and they can't pay for it? The hospitals will still be stuck with those, which in turn is the government, really, because if you think about it, they write that stuff off as a federal tax, and they get credit for that because it's a write-off. So the federal government and taxpayers still pay for that, regardless if it's a premium or if they don't have any coverage and they get paid for it and the government has to reimburse the hospitals for it. Anyway, so there are competing goals here, Levitt said. There's the goal of getting people insured, and certainly the lower cost of insurance. The more likely is people will sign up. There are also the goal of allowing insurance companies to recover their costs of covering certain kinds of people, and the smoking surcharge is one way of doing that. However, some see smoking as an addiction, not a choice. Oh, please. I've quit a couple of different times. Sometimes my life starts going bad and I've had a cigarette, and then I've always quit. It's not an addiction. It's a mind. You have to learn to be strong-minded. It's as with anything. Either you can sit at home and you can smoke cigarettes out your butt, or you can, that was no pun intended. That just kind of came out. Not often does that happen. Anyway, so you can just sit, you can sit there and smoke all your cigarettes away, or you can just say, hey, I don't need a cigarette right now. I don't need a cigarette. It's not an addiction. Anyway, they say it's no different than any other pre-existing condition. Whatever. Most state exchanges ask the questions up front. Are you a smoker? Experts say users may try to lie, but insurers can file fraud charges if they learn a patient is lying. That's exactly right. Especially if you're getting a subsidy. That's fraud if you lied about not smoking. Smokers may escape the penalty in the first year of the Obamacare thanks to another computer glitch in the federal website, which can't seem to change, would charge older smokers the proper amount. That, however, isn't necessarily true in all states. And also through your doctor can tell if you're a smoker or not. And if you don't think so, well, then you're stupid. Really. Your doctor can tell if you're smoking or not. You try to lie to your doctor, they're going to know. I mean, they can tell by your teeth. They can tell by your gums. They can tell by your throat, the way that your x-rays. They can tell by all of these things. And it gets written down on your chart. Anyway, we're going to move on. So speaking of the healthcare bill, the trouble with the healthcare.gov site appears to be so widespread that Obama administration has opened the door for Americans to circumvent the site altogether. Oh, under the plan announced last Friday by the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, CMS, the government would allow people to deal directly with insurance companies instead of through the federally run exchange websites. The move comes as the administration's self-imposed November 30th deadline for fixing the site is just days away, and officials acknowledge it may not be fully operational by then. The pilot program announced by CMS would initially launch for residents in Ohio, Florida, and Texas, and is the latest effort to give users the alternative to the troubled site. Wow. So what the hell did we spend $696 million plus on then? I'd like to know. This is what we spent on this website so that people can just go to insurance agencies and buy their premiums? Really? So that insurance agents can be your caseworker for your Medicaid? This is one more way we are working to offer consumers a variety of ways to enroll in affordable carriage. My ass. This is one more way you're trying to get more dollars for yourself. Just like those people that call after a car accident. I mean, you're vultures. These people, of course they're trying to get business. That's what they do. That's their livelihood. That's just their business. But anytime you have government involved, willing to pay for something for somebody, the highest price premium is going to be charged by that person who's making the commission. I mean, look at housing market, FHA, same thing. They're going to have to set limits on, they're going to have to figure this out because insurance agents are they're going to go crazy. It's going to be just like an open market. Y'all can disagree with me all you want, but typically I've been right on these things. Anyway, by strengthening the multiple channels to enroll in quality, affordable coverage, affordable my ass, again, let's go back to that. It is not affordable. We are ensuring that every American who wants it can gain access to these new coverage options, or even if you don't want it because it's a mandate, idiots. Ugh, I love reading these things sometimes. Mateo said that the direct enrollment has been there from the start, but the option was limited by the website problems, which have been fixed to the extent that insurance companies can now send applications to the site to assess enrollees' eligibility for coverage and potential discounts on premiums, she said. Now, I guarantee you, this has something to do also with not putting your information into the website. Because if you remember correctly, who was the senator that called out Obama last week on that? I reported on that in one of the shows. I can't remember. Sorry. I've slept since then. But, yeah, he was demanding that Obama stop the website and take the website down so that you didn't have to put your information because hackers were already hacking the website. Anyway, so the option could help Americans frustrated by the healthcare.ov's crashes, slow response times, and other problems. It is another acknowledgement that the site probably will not be working for everybody by the administration's November 30th deadline. Let's see, 3 days after, 25, 26, 27. He's got about 3 days left in the week to fix that by the 30th. I don't think it's going to happen either. Officials originally vowed to fix the site by then. As the extent of the site's problems became apparent, officials lowered the bar on that goal, vowing instead to significantly improve the site by the end of the month. White House spokesman Josh Earnest said Monday that improvements to the site are on schedule, including faster response times, and that it should be able to handle 50,000 concurrent users. Because maybe they brought in, people that built the Amazon website or Google or No, I doubt they're not that smart. Anytime in government's involved, the obvious answer is never the choice that they choose. If there were more than 50,000 people trying to use the website, individuals can choose to receive an email from CMS when the traffic on the website has been reduced. Take a detour here. Stop at Google. Go shopping at Amazon. Then come on back to our site and buy your insurance. How stupid. God. Administration officials have also been encouraging Americans to submit written applications, contact call centers, or visit sign-up centers to enroll for the insurance. They continue to say the site will be working smoothly by the end of the month for a vast majority of Americans. Sorry, this is just so laughable. And last week, they extended the enrollment deadline from December 15th to December 23rd to get insurance coverage starting January 1st. Americans who are required to have insurance under the President's 2010 health care law must enroll by the end of March or face a tax penalty. In another development, GoHealthInsurance.com announced Monday that it has become the first private insurer to integrate with the so-called Federal Data Service Hub. I can't get that one out. Which includes IRS, citizenship, and other personal information. So Americans can now use that as well to bypass the federal site and enroll in health plans under Obamacare that kick in next year. The company also said the process includes the capacity to calculate the subsidies. As for the CMS announcement, the pilot project will help improve the overall direct enrollment option because insurers and enrollees will provide federal officials with detailed feedback on their experience. I'm guessing they don't have a widget that gives the middle finger in Word, because that would be the one that most people would be using, I would think. They say that you need to take note of this, and if your child is a bully... Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I moved on to my next story already. Oh, gosh, people, it's Monday. I'm sorry. And I'm learning how to use the teleprompter as well as Obama. And, you know, he does have that on me. Although he's not as smart as me. So I'll get this part down. Anyway, it's a one-man show here at the Val Emmons Show right now. So I'll just stick with me. It'll get better. My next story is about bullies. And this one is close to me and close to my heart. So it may take up the rest of the show. I'm not sure. I've got a lot of things I want to talk about. But I definitely want to talk about this because... You know, bullies need to take note of this. And if your child's a bully, you need to step it up as a parent before it's out of control. The mother of 4-year-old Rebecca Sedgwick, who committed suicide after the president bullied her. Imagine that. Anyway, Sedgwick committed suicide after persistent online bullying by classmates. Her mother said that today it was Monday, she intends to sue those responsible for her death. This is reported on ABC News. The girl's mother, Tricia Norman, did not identify who she would sue, but 2 girls, ages 12 and 14, were originally arrested and charged with cyberstalking and Sedgwick's death. I'm not sure if you recall that. It's been quite a while, but those charges were dropped last week, and people are asking me, how do you feel? She said, I don't really know how to answer that question. I feel like I'm living a nightmare and I can't wake up. My heart aches constantly, she said. My body is numb. I can't sleep. My happiness no longer exists. My baby is gone. Sedgwick, 12, of Lakeland, Florida, climbed a silo tower at an abandoned plant and jumped to her death on September 9th, after police say she was relentlessly taunted online. To be honest, I'm very angry with the individuals, her mother says. I believe they're responsible for my daughter's death. I keep waiting for an apology now, and I know it'll never come. She announced that she would be pursuing wrongful death suits in civil court. In October, attorneys for Norman said they were exploring their legal options and that they hadn't ruled out suing the local school board or the parents of the 2 girls who had been accused. I intend to hold them accountable to the full extent of the law, she said. Norman's attorney, Matt Morgan, called bullying a problem of epidemic proportions that has reached a tipping point as they announced 3 pieces of legal action, including the civil lawsuits. He first proposed Rebecca's Law, a state law they want that would criminally punish bullies for their conduct. And I believe this is what needs to happen, because it is so far out of control with bullying, and these kids don't think they're doing anything wrong. And anyway, Morgan said the state has a statute that prohibits bullying, but that there are never punishments under the statute, which I will second that, because How many times do you see somebody going to jail? How many times do you see these kids getting in trouble for bullying? The teachers overlook it at school. It's a felony to bully someone. It's a felony. In Arkansas it is, I know. And it still happens every day. Every day it happens. Anyway, her attorney also announced that they hope to pass the first ever federal anti-bullying law titled the Safe Schools Improvement Act of 2013. The act would dictate that if schools receive funding from the state, they must have certain policies and procedures to address bullying, and schools must adhere to those. Rebecca's mother said that she would do everything in her power to pass Rebecca's law. My goal is to use this personal tragedy to make society a safer place to live, she said. I know it's what Rebecca would have wanted. 2 girls ages 12 and 14 were arrested on felony aggravated stalking charges after the Polk County Sheriff's Office said both terrorized Sedgwick and then showed no remorse for Sedgwick's death. They were under house arrest until the charges were dropped. On Wednesday, Polk County Sheriff Grady Judge said his office was exceptionally pleased with the outcome of the case. He said both children are going to receive the counseling and services they need, which is the best outcome for the juveniles. The 12-year-old is represented by Jose Baez, who had also represented Casey Anthony in her trial for allegedly killing her daughter, Kaylee. Anthony was acquitted of those charges. Norman's attorney, Matt Morgan, represents Zenaida Gonzalez, a woman who shared a name with a fictional nanny Anthony claimed had taken her daughter and is suing Casey Anthony. Listen, when I was a kid, I was bullied. Yes, me, bullied. I know you know, maybe that's what has made me who I am. In fact, I know it is what made me who I am, because there was a point in my life where I decided that people were not going to bully me anymore, and I started speaking up for myself. But that was a long road, and every day in high school, I was bullied. I think that bullies are actually looking to bully people to feel something in their life because there may be something that, something wrong with them. Not wrong with them necessarily, but they have some insecurities about them. And so it makes them feel better to pick on someone else and make them feel so small and just embarrass them in front of other people. I had this kid at school. His name was Todd McGraw, and he was such a jackass. I would be outside smoking, because I did smoke, and it was kind of gross, I know. But I was like 15. We did that back then. They gave us smoking passes. I had a smoking pass. I'd smoke outside. And the next thing I know, I'd be happy and hanging out with my friends. The next thing I know, he'd come and spit on me right in front of them. Do you know how gross that is? For someone to come up and just spit on you in front of all the popular kids, that you're trying to fit in with? And then to call you fat ass all the time, to call you names all the time. It really sucks. It really does. Now, do I let it bother me now? Hell no. Because my life is a lot better than it was then, and I'm old enough, and I'm not even the same person I was then. If that guy did that to me nowadays, I'd haul off and punch him in his face, and that'd be that. I'm not going to bully anyone. I'm not going to tell you how ugly you are or how, that is just being a hypocrite. I'm going to punch you in your face. It would make me feel better. But, I'm talking about it as an adult, and I don't even know if I could do that. I would just, because that kind of stupid, I can, if I'm fat, I can lose weight. If I'm ugly, maybe I can do my hair different. Maybe I can put some makeup on. Maybe I can change my clothes. But stupid and ugly inside will always remain. And I also want you to tell your children if they're being bullied. I want you to explain to them that if they're in high school especially, these kids won't even matter when they're done with high school. They won't even matter. I don't even know half of these kids. I think I talked to 1 or 2 people from high school. And that's not on a regular basis. I don't even talk to these people. I don't even know them. They have no impact on my life whatsoever. And I am the boss of my life. And so, if they can just get through high school, and, if you see someone and they're being bullied, tell your kids they should be the hero. They should stand up for that kid. Maybe you might even save that kid's life. Like Rebecca. If she would have had someone stand up for her, which I don't know if she did or she didn't, I don't know all the details of that case, but most of the time if you have someone stand up to the bullies, they'll go away. Rebecca did not have to end her life, and I find it's so sad. And those little girls were not even remorseful. They were like, I'm glad she's dead. How could anyone... I mean, what is wrong, so hateful inside of a person, so evil inside of a person that they think that way? But then you also have to look about, we don't know what was going on in that child's household either. So when you look at someone and you feel the need to bully them, you should also wonder what else is going on. You know, what else is going on in their household? You know, if you don't think they have the coolest shoes like you do, maybe they don't have the money that you do. Maybe their parents aren't doing so hot. So help them out. Don't beat them down into the ground. I just don't understand the way that people treat one another. I really don't. And a lot of these kids, they don't know because they haven't been taught. So it's your job as an adult to teach them. And if there's kids coming over to your house, talk to them too. If they're coming in my house, they're in my domain. And I'm going to tell them like it is. And if I see them bullying or hear about them bullying someone, they're going to hear it from me just like they were my own kid. You know, my son had issues with bullying at his school. And I told him, I said, you know, and it was racial bullying because... And it was reverse discrimination, and I know people, that doesn't exist, but it does, because this child actually, they were in gym, and my son came out of the gym, and they had been playing volleyball, and he had his books in his hand, and this African-American child walked up to him and knocked his books out of his hand. And he was like, I hate all white kids, you know? And Trevor was like, what? And so he knocked his books out of his hand, so Trevor, you know, knocked the crap out of him. But before that, he had come home the day before, and he was like, man, this kid is just being so mean to me and so bullying all of us. And I don't know what to do. I don't want to get in trouble. I'm like, Trevor, you're not going to get in trouble. If he bullies you like that, you need to stand up for yourself, because if you don't, those other 10 friends behind him are going to bully you, and they're going to think that you can bully you too. So if you and your friends are being bullied, you need to stick up for yourself, and you need to do it. And you're not going to get in trouble in my eyes. You might get in trouble at school, but that's okay, because you stuck up for yourself and ended it right then and there. Most of the time, if you stick up for yourself, you end it, because those friends, once they see you're vulnerable, they're going to do the same thing to you, because you're the weak person that they can get away with picking on. And so, you know, it happens. It happens at school. I've had to go to school, and actually it happened a lot more in middle school than it did, which this little girl was 12 years old, so I can see that. And the little girls at school, you know, the counselor and I talked about it, because I actually went to my son's school here in Little Rock, and I started a bullying week, and I brought in a speaker. I brought in Anthony Lucas from the Razorbacks, and he talked to the kids, and, you know, he was like, look, I was bullied in school too. So, and I have that actually. I need to put that up somewhere, because I never put that up. But what they did was we made wall decorations on their doors and stuff, and the one that affected me the most was this one that it had this writing at the top of it said, "Why must you make me feel so small?" And it had this little tiny guy at the bottom of the door. And that one right there said it all. I don't understand a bully's need to make someone else feel so small. And they don't do that unless they're insecure about themselves. So, if you want to have more friends in high school, tell your kids this. You want to have more friends in school, period. Be the hero. Don't be the bully. Be the hero. I guarantee you'll have more friends if you stick up for someone than you will if you join in someone else bullying them. And that's all that I have for tonight. I will talk to you again tomorrow. Have a good night. Bye-bye.